Every tree you've ever touched, climbed, or stood beneath is dead. Not dying. Not mostly dead. Dead. The living part is thinner than a sheet of paper. A fragile sleeve of cells crushed between a towering skeleton of corpses and a shell of even more corpses. Yet somehow these hollow monuments pull water 100 meters into the air using forces that would rip your blood vessels apart in an instant. Build their bodies out of nothing but sunlight and exhale breath, and live longer than civilizations. Stay with me for the next 10 minutes, and I'll show you how trees pulled off one of the greatest cons in the history of life, how they accidentally invented immortality, how they weaponized death itself to conquer the planet, and why in the truest sense the giants around us are already ghosts wearing living crowns. Let's begin where everything began, in the oceans a billion years ago. For most of Earth's history, plants were soft, filmy things drifting on sunlit waves. They drank the sea through their skin and turned light into sugar the way we turn food into thought. Life was simple. Then, 470 million years ago, a few of them crawled onto land, an alien desert of stone and poison air. Gravity became the enemy. Water no longer floated to them. They had to chase it. And worst of all, a new direction opened up. Height. Up meant more light. More light meant more food. More food meant you shaded everyone beneath you until they starved. Height became murder. A silent green arms race exploded across the continents. Early land plants were built of cellulose, floppy and weak, like wet cardboard. They could barely lift themselves a few centimeters before collapsing. Then evolution dealt a card so overpowered it changed the planet forever. Lignin. Lignin is horror movie chemistry. Rings of carbon locked together so tightly that almost nothing in nature can chew them apart. It's rigid, waterproof, nearly indestructible. Imagine pouring concrete into jelly and letting it harden. Suddenly plants could stand upright, they could fight. They could grow. And grow they did. Millions of years of relentless one-upmanship turned lignin dial to 11, until one day, 385 million years ago, a plant crossed the threshold and invented wood. Not just tough, not just strong wood. Steel-reinforced concrete grown from sunlight. Overnight, the largest organisms in history shot into existence. 20 meters, 30, 50. Forests became cathedrals of dead tissue holding up tiny green catwalks of life. But size is a brutal master. The taller you get, the farther water has to travel from root to leaf. 10 meters is already insane. 100 meters is biological heresy. How do you pump a column of water the height of Big Ben without a heart, without muscles, without anything we would recognize as a pump? The answer is hidden inside the corpse tower itself. Slice a tree open and find its secret heart. The cambium, a ring of stem cells so thin you could read a newspaper through it. This is the only part of the trunk that is truly alive. Everything else is history. Every year this living thread divides in two directions. Inward, it births cells doomed to die gloriously. These cells go full berserker on lignin, turning themselves into hollow, rock-hard straws before committing ritual suicide. Their corpses stack like coffins, pushing the cambium outward, making the trunk thicker. Year after year, corpse upon corpse, ring upon ring, until what we call wood is revealed for what it truly is. A skyscraper-sized graveyard of trillions of plant bones. These dead straws, the xylem, form a continuous plumbing system from root tip to leaf tip. And here comes the part that breaks physics textbooks. Water molecules love each other. They cling so desperately that if you pull one, the rest follow like a chain of magnets. On a hot day, the leaves open billions of microscopic mouths and let water evaporate into the sky. As each molecule escapes, it yanks the one behind it, that one yanks the next. All the way down through 100 meters of dead pipes, a silent, invisible rope tightens. The pull is monstrous, negative pressure strong enough to crush a submarine. In human pipes, water would boil into bubbles and the column would snap. In trees, the pipes are so narrow, so perfectly sealed, that water stays liquid under tension that would kill any animal instantly. 95% of everything a tree drinks is thrown away as invisible mist just to keep this deadly rope taut. The other 5%? That's the bribe the tree pays to stay alive, but water only flows one way. Sugar has to come down, signals have to race up and down, wounds have to be reported. That's the job of the second child of the cambium, the phloem. The thinnest living skin on Earth. Outward from the cambium, new cells are born into an even darker bargain. Some become sieve cells, living corpses that digest their own brains and nuclei. hollow themselves out, and link end-to-end into sugar highways. They are technically alive, but only because their smaller companion cells refuse to let them die, feeding them, repairing them, bossing them around like puppets. Together they form a glistening, wet film barely a millimeter thick that wraps the entire dead tower. This is the tree's bloodstream, its nervous system, its supply chain. Damage this film and the giant dies, no matter how impressive it looks. Outside that, another layer of doomed cells hardens into bark, yet another conveyor belt of sacrificial death. Inside, the oldest xylem fills with resins and poisons until it becomes heartwood. A fortress so rot-proof that 5,000-year-old trees still stand like they were planted yesterday. So look again at any tree. What you see is a monument built by the dead, for the living, protected by the dead. The green crown is just the thinnest frosting of life on a cake made of extinction. Trees do not age the way we do. As long as the cambium keeps dividing, as long as the world doesn't burn, flood, or chainsaw them, they could theoretically live forever. There are individuals out there older than the written word. Older than Stonehenge, quietly outlasting empires because death is their architecture. Trees are not a family. They are an idea life invented at least 5 separate times, a strategy so successful that 3 trillion of them now rule the continents. They won the ancient war for the sky, turned sunlight into cities of bone, and wrapped the planet in shadow. And this is only half the story. Beneath the ground waits an acid-wielding root empire in conspiracy with underground fungi. Above, the crown wages chemical warfare and builds itself molecule by molecule from the CO you breathed out this morning, but that's for next time. For now, the next time you walk through a forest, remember, you are surrounded by immortal ghosts wearing paper crowns, pumping oceans into the sky with nothing but death and surface tension. And they have been watching us far longer than we have been watching them.